The purpose of this video is to provide you with a high-level overview of the Auro 3D workflow. In fact, there are two concepts from which content can be realized in the Auro 3D sound format. First is in the final mix only. Second is when Auro 3D is factored from in the beginning. Let's start with the first one. In the final mix only, in which a standard workflow is enhanced with the creative possibilities of the Auro 3D 11.1 format. This enables a much more natural spread of sound, resulting in a much more immersive cinema experience. The concept and the goal is that we have in fact two different sound formats, the Auro 3D 11.1 and the 5.1, which will be created simultaneously. That's possible due to two things. First, the speaker layout. There is a natural compatibility between the 5.1 and the 11.1 format. And secondly, of course, the tools. We provide you with the tools that enables a perfect result of an Auro 3D 11.1 and an even enhanced 5.1 surround master. In this video, I'm going to focus on the final mix only. So there are a few aspects very important in creating a three-dimensional sound field. Of course, it's routing, the 3D panning, but there are some more things like you need sometimes upmixing, and of course, the tools you need for the compatibility to create the 11.1 simultaneously with the 5.1. I'll take you through on the screen and let's look how this works. So if all the channels are coming together on a console, it's important to create first in the 11.1 the three-dimensional sound field. That can be done by routing, 3D routing and 3D panning, of course, combined. Certain sounds can immediately route it to certain specific places, especially the high channels, which are very important for the three-dimensional sound field. With the ceiling channels only we cannot recreate that three-dimensional sound field. Certain sounds can immediately go up there, like birds or certain effects. But other sounds really need a control of being panned to put them more precisely on certain positions and sometimes if they move as well. For that one, we developed a special 3D panner which can be used in the Pro Tools environment, or you can do it as well on the mixing console. On the mixing console it works like that. So using these two joysticks here on the DFC console from EMS Neve, it's in fact very easy. On the left side you have the horizontal plane, on the right side the vertical one. So with the combination of both we can place whatever sound in the three-dimensional space. The same concept can be done as well in the Pro Tools, where the same two concepts, two joysticks are put in a position so that you can recreate the same thing, but then in the Pro Tools system itself. Auroverb and Auromatic are two important tools to create Auro 3D sound from a mono, stereo or 5.1 source. Auroverb even allows to make an acoustical fingerprint on the set, which can be important as an algorithm, so you can use the acoustics of the set into the plugin itself. Auromatic is a kind of an algorithm which creates natural 3D reflections on each sound, so it helps as well to create that immersive experience coming out of each sound. So the concept is that this plugin is being inserted in the final mix bus. This allows us the creation of the Auro 3D 11.1 format and the Surround 5.1 format simultaneously. This very cost-effective way of working is possible with these three modes. In bypass mode, we are listening to the 11.1 version. In evaluate mode, we are listening to the 5.1 as a result of the creative mix being done with these faders. And when everything is mixed and ready for the final mix, we can of course then encode the 5.1 as a result coming out of the 11.1 mix. Of course, there is the question about the ceiling channel, the channel directly above us. What about the compatibility of that channel between the format 11.1 and the 5.1. For certain sounds in that channel you would like to have them more in the front, perhaps certain one in the back when mixing down to the 5.1, but we solved that in the plugin. So the way it is being solved is that the ceiling channel is represented by 4 different faders, and each fader is related to the corner of the 5.1 speakers. So in fact what happens is, you can decide yourself how much information of the ceiling channel will be on each speaker in the corner. So you can group them all, so you can give an offset to all channels, or you can just have the front more or the back more. So in fact, you can decide creatively yourself how much information and where it is being placed in the 5.1 format. This groundbreaking technology allows us single inventory distribution. This has three main advantages. First of all, it's a very effective cost-saving strategy for film producers. Secondly, it is DCI compliant, so it does not require any kind of change or format specs. And thirdly, it protects operators in the cinema theaters from playback errors due to the variety of different formats available. I hope I've given you a solid first impression about the Auro 3D workflow during the final mix. Let me give you as well some information about recording Auro 3D native material on the set. Here are a few examples of microphones which were specially developed for making Auro 3D recordings on set. On set there are three different solutions. Depending on the possibilities we have on the set, we have developed a big one, a medium size and a small one. Let's start with the big one. The big one, you see here as well in the bottom first the 5.1, standard 5.1 rig. On top of that is the height layer, so where you see the 4 channels used for the height layer, and of course the ceiling channel as well. So the height layer is directed to a 30-degree, even a little bit more, 40-degree angle to have a good separation between all the channels of the microphones. And this is the medium-sized solution, which is developed by Florian Kämmerer. He is worldwide known as an expert in sound field recording. So this is a very flexible system. It's very lightweighted as well. You see 2 big windshields, one for the bottom in which the 5.1 layer is inside. Here inside is the height layer with the microphone as well as the top layer. This microphone is specially developed to be used with moving cameras. So and there is a third solution which is specially developed for places where you have limited space. In this picture you see the recording we did from some dialogue. Normally on dialogue you don't record 3D acoustical spaces, but it is amazing subconsciously what happens if you represent these 3D reflections. It brings the listener much closer to the action on screen. Upon closer examination, you will become confident that Auro 3D is the logical choice as next-generation audio for the cinema industry. If you would like to have more information, please visit our website. Thank you very much.